Hello Taurus, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, it does not cost you anything. If there's something you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And an 8 of Pentacles. This is slow and steady progress. This is caution. This is not caution, really, but this is patience. This is devotion. This is dedication. This is trying to give something exactly what it needs so that it can grow into its very best self, you know? Let's see what we're doing with this energy. Where are we applying this? What are the results going to be? What is it that we're trying to grow in this very dedicated and meticulous, very detail-oriented kind of way, right? Well, we've got a Knight of Wands. Could be that our patience is running a little bit short, maybe. We've got a 10 of Swords, a 5 of Pentacles. We've got the Death card. We've got a 5 of Cups and a 5 of Pentacles. Oh, but we've got your Power card. This is the Hierophant. This is your superpower card. We've got a lot of communication that's taking place here with the Prince of Swords, a 10 of Wands, and the Devil energy at the top. This is something that you're trying to resist the ebb and flow of your emotional energy, for one. I think that you're really trying to maintain. This is like that flower in the garden, and there's just storms, there's weeds, there's bigger, taller plants, there's all these other things around it. But this is that one beautiful thing we're trying to hold on to. Okay? And I think this really is your patience, your caution, your prudence, your detail-oriented approach. This is your slow and calm and devoted energy. But meanwhile, there's all this chaos going on around us, but you're trying to remain fixed. This is your Hierophant energy. You hold this. This is the center of the garden, right? And you are trying to protect this flower, this plant, this tree, because you hold it sacred. So you are trying to weather all the storms to preserve this. Now, this might be your business. This might be your relationship, your family. This might be your own creative will, your own spiritual progress. But there's a lot going on around it. Right, there really is a lot. I think there are a lot of changes. I think this is a major transformation that's taking place for you personally, and I think that you're trying to weather the storms. And I think you really are. I think you're doing a wonderful job, because look at this Devil card at the top. You're still climbing, and some days the weather on Mount Everest is beautiful. Other days, it's really, really not. From what I've seen on TV, I've never been there. But you're climbing, no matter what the weather, no matter what life is throwing at you. You're dedicated and devoted. You cherish this thing, whatever it is. Your own soul, your spirit, your connection with the divine, your relationship, your kids, your business, whatever. Your creative projects. You cherish it to the point where you're protected. It's like you've got this little flower in your hand as you're climbing up Mount Everest, and you're just trying to shield it from the weather. You would rather take the hit than for this thing to be, maybe you're a new parent. I can vibe with that, for sure, And it's one of these strange things, because you've got this slow, cautious, you're trying to protect this delicate thing, but you feel almost kind of like you're rushing back and forth. You're rushing to stop this storm and this storm over here. You want to block that, block this. And so there's this very hectic energy that's coming through. But there's this little delicate, peaceful thing. Kind of feels like a movie or a cartoon or something, where here we are just frantic running around, and then cut scene to that little flower, and it's got just slow music and sunshine, and it's just quiet, and then cut again back to you, and it's just crazy storms and all this weather, right? This could really be you, trying to sprout your seeds and start the planting season a little bit early this year, that sort of thing. But this is something that has long-term implications for you. It's not just one little flower. It's something that really is, it's like the little sprout, and you're trying to preserve the little sprout because you know that as time continues on. Now, the Death card's not an evil card. This is just talking about the slow and gradual progress of something, the slow and gradual change, right? You're paying attention to all the little details now. You're trying to take care of this thing and preserve this thing and raise it, really, like, help it to grow, try to provide what it needs so it can grow. We don't grow the plants, right? We are just caretakers. We try to maintain the optimal conditions so the plant can grow itself. I'm not trying to grow my children. I'm not trying to raise my children. I'm trying to provide the optimal conditions so that she can grow. She can do what she does. She can grow herself, And so I feel like this is a long-term thing. This is something that is a slow and gradual thing, and maybe day to day it feels like you lived an entire year in just one day. Maybe it literally is a kid, because I can feel this for sure. At the end of the day, you're ragged, but we know we got to start. We got to rest. We got to do it again tomorrow. And it may feel like this is never going to end. But you're doing something very sacred. And maybe it's a business, maybe it's a family thing, maybe it's a kid, maybe it's a plant, a garden, maybe it's flowers, vegetables, fruits, I don't know. And maybe it's a relationship. Yeah. Maybe it's a relationship. The last thing that you want is this 10 of Swords down here, this whole thing to come, your efforts to fail, right? This is, you don't want your efforts to come to nothing. You don't want this to not come to fruition. You don't want this thing to not grow up and be happy and healthy and successful, So this is our foundation. This is what kind of is motivating us, is that we will not let this thing touch the lava, Whatever it takes, we have to, even if it involves us kind of putting ourselves second place, deprioritizing ourselves to take care of this. Whatever you do, you cannot let it touch the ground, right? It's like that game, Hot Potato or something, right? But I feel like there's a lot of changes happening in your life right now, so it kind of is, to me, we're going to use the metaphor of, having a child, right? Suddenly there's a lot of changes, but I think these changes have already been kind of happening. Well, it takes a few months for a kid to be born. So you have time to prepare a little bit. You can baby-proof the house. You can try to get some supplies and some clothes and things like that you might need. Stock up on diapers and wet wipes, But we can't be ready for everything. You can't plan for everything. So there will still be so many storms that we weather. Even though we've prepared, even though we have our supplies, we still have to go through the storm. People that stock up, in their house, they get a lot of water, a lot of canned goods. That doesn't protect you from the storm. That just gives you what we think might be the optimal conditions to get through that storm, but we still got to get through it. The storm is still, coming at some point. Building a storm shelter is not going to prevent storms. You know what I mean? So we prepare, but we also know that all the preparation in the world is not going to prepare us for the actual event. The actual, taking care of something in this way. Yeah. And I think sometimes, a very natural kind of feeling is the 5 of Cups. Sometimes we are exhausted. Sometimes we want to just cry. Other times we want to just jump for joy, right? There's going to be mixed emotions. There's going to be waves of emotions, and that's totally normal. It's not changing what you're doing. It's not changing your approach. It's not changing your devotion or your commitment or your fixed Taurus energy. We could be talking about something way more abstract here. We could be talking about your life itself. That you're trying to create this beautiful life. You're trying to construct your world around you in a way that is pleasing to you, right? Satisfying to your soul. You're trying to plant in your garden those flowers that you want to be around, those vegetables that you want to eat, in a way, in an arrangement that is pleasing to you. Yeah. And sometimes we feel like I'll never get it. I'll never do it. It'll never happen. Because as soon as we start arranging our lives in a certain way, then other things come up that we've got to deal with, and so we can't continue making the progress in this particular thing. It's like you're trying to build your house, decorate your house, and landscape your yard and stuff. And that's a long process. So I don't know any homeowners out there, and I'm not one yet, but it seems like it's a long-term commitment. I think a mortgage is, 20, 30 years, right? So you have a long time to do these things. And I think the Knight of Wands wants to do all of it right now. That we feel like, I wish I could just speed up time and get all these things done now. But we're reminded, one, that that's not the healthiest thing, right? That this is something that just needs calm, caution, it needs thoughtfulness and devotion and caretaking. The Death card reminds us that this is a long-term thing, that we make progress not in one. It's not suddenly you just have a plot of land, and then in the next moment you've got the house, it's decorated, painted your colors, the landscaping is perfect, everything is where you want it. No, it happens in state. Maybe one day you do the couple of flowers in the front yard. Maybe one day you kind of, buy some furniture that you like. Or one day you might paint a room or one wall or something. It happens over time, gradually. But at the end of it, you're going to have that ideal space for yourself. That ideal world. Because let's face it, Taurus, you're a seeker of beauty. Right? You have this fixed earth energy. You know what kind of world you want. You know what is pleasing to you. You know where you want to exist. You're a seeker of beauty, a builder of beauty. And no one can tell you anything different. You want it your way. You want it your way. And I think that it's a helpful reminder that it's going to take time. As long as you're committed and devoted and you're careful and peaceful and you cherish this thing and you do hold it sacred, that you will slowly but surely build that beautiful life that you want. Okay? And it's maybe, every day or every week, try to do one thing to add that piece of beauty to your life. Whatever it's going to be. It doesn't have to be objects, things like this, but it could be, music. Surround yourself with things that bring you that beauty. Through relationships, through, spiritual practices, through objects, colors, sights and sounds, through flavors, through tactile things. Maybe you really like that shag carpet. Go get yourself a little shag carpet. We're thinking about getting artificial grass on our floors. I don't know, just a thought. But this is your dedication, right? And it takes one really knowing themselves to do this. I still think it might be a kid. It has that kind of, a new addition to the family kind of vibe to it. because we've got the Prince of Swords in the position of the environment here, I feel like it is very important for you right now to start focusing on your communication. Get your network set up. Get your support system set up. Get everybody's phone number on speed dial. Call your friends, your family. Let them know that, there might come a day where you're going to call on them for a favor, right? You're kind of the godfather here. But just, activate that support system. Get those numbers set up and get those conversations taken care of, so that you have a strong support system, so that you have a strong network of people, right? And not just because when you're in the storm, you're going to maybe want someone to come help you, like board up the windows or something, but just to relieve yourself of that worry. We don't want to find ourselves isolated at some point. So we maintain our relationships now. Start doing that now so that it becomes a habit. So every once in a while, we check in with our best friends. And we check in with our family members, maybe more often than we have been. Just to strengthen those bonds with our loved ones, I was going to say you got to pet the cat every once in a while to let it know that you're still around, but I don't want to equivocate the two. It's important right now for you to focus on those interpersonal relationships and reinforce, strengthen those lines of communication. Yeah. What we don't want here is burnout. We've got the 10 of Wands up here, and this is in the position of what we don't want. This is burning the candle at both ends. This is kind of the Knight of Wands here, fire and fire, running from one storm to the other, trying to protect this sacred tree from anything that may be threatening it. Anything. So we're over here, and then over here, then the front door and the back door, and then up top and down below and everything, and we're just running around and around and around. We're going to burn ourselves out eventually. Okay. So another reason why it might be important to have a teammate here, and maybe you do. Maybe you have a significant other or a spouse or something like that. Make sure that they are working in tandem with you. See, the 10 of Wands shows exhaustion of the fire energy, exhaustion of the vitality. It also shows the means of preventing that. And that's through teamwork. That's why it looks like a 2 of Wands, right? It looks like a 2 because it is an easier burden when we're sharing it with someone. And if you think of the 10 of Wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith, right? It's someone who's got that bundle of sticks on their shoulder and they're just head down and they're just carrying it to wherever they're carrying it. And that implies, hey, you don't have to carry this entire burden yourself. You can either throw some of them sticks down and make 2 or 3 trips back to the car to get the groceries, Are you one of those people that try to carry all the groceries, right? You got 20 bags over here, 20 bags over here, and you got your key in your hand? I do that too. My wife and I sometimes compete on who can carry the most of the groceries into the house. But even in that sense, we're still doing the teamwork, right? Because she's got her arms full, I got my arms full. But sometimes we can either ask somebody, hey, can you carry these bags? I'll carry 20, you can just carry 5 or 10, I don't mind, but can you help take a couple, right? Or we just toss them down and we just say, I'm going to take 2 or 5 or 10 at a time so that I don't, seriously burn myself out or twist an ankle or something, or break the eggs. Sometimes you got something delicate in there and you can't carry all of them at once, right? Because one of them might get damaged. So sometimes it even makes more sense in an 8 of Pentacles kind of mindset to take things a little bit slower, to take things one at a time so that you don't break anything, yourself or what you're carrying. Does that make sense? And all of this really is geared toward you climbing higher and higher up this mountain, whatever this is going to be, whatever's at the top here for you. But you have this ambition. You have this creative will, and this is extraordinary. I realize we never selected the mystery card. I want to do that now. This was really intense. I got completely distracted by all these cards that we didn't select the mystery card. This is that factor infinite and unknown, and we're just going to put it here. We're going to put Robo-Duck right on top. We're not going to look at that card, well, I guess for a few more minutes. But if you have a prediction for it, go ahead and put that down in the comments, right? Usually I do that at the beginning of the reading, but I forgot. Let's try to predict that card together. Let's make it interactive. I think it's good to exercise our intuition. It's good to stay sharp, you know. We've got the two tens here, and these are connected, right? They're both tens. We don't want to fail in our endeavors, but if we burn ourselves out, we will. So it kind of makes sense that we've got to slow down a little bit. We've got to tell this Knight of Wands, go take a rest. Stable the horse, give the horse some food and water and brush it and all that stuff, and then go take a nap. Right? Go do the same for yourself, and that will ensure that we have enough stamina, enough fire energy to keep climbing so that we don't fail. Okay? I think it's very important for you to understand where you are pushing yourself too much, too hard. Okay? And if there is a way to streamline some of this or to calm some of this energy down so it doesn't feel like we're running from the front door to the back door, the front door to the back door, the front door, and we're just going back and forth all the way around, it's burning up a lot of fuel. Maybe there's a better way of doing it, right? It's kind of when you have a newborn, you might have to sleep in shifts. It doesn't make sense for you both to be up 24 hours a day. Let's sleep in shifts, you and your spouse, significant other, whatever. Just as an example, you know. You might have to figure out a strategy to where you can preserve some of your vitality and regain some strength so that we can continue climbing. It's very dangerous to climb a mountain when you are that tired and that fatigued, right? If we had days and days of rest and recuperation between camps, it would probably be a lot easier. But from what I've seen on TV with those Everest shows, you know, there's some good documentaries and things on YouTube as well, which to me they're fascinating to watch. They hike up to a camp, Camp 1, Camp 2, Camp 3, Camp 4, and then they're there for, well, maybe for a night, maybe for a couple of nights, maybe for a week, I don't know. But when the weather says it's time to go, then it's time to go. You may get, and you know, when the baby's crying, it's time to go. You may get 5 minutes of sleep. You may get 5 hours of sleep. You just don't know, right? So we have to be ready to go at a moment's notice. We have to find a way to maximize our recovery time. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. I think it's time now. I want to see some expansive Jupiter energy. I want to see this Wheel of Fortune. But I kind of feel we might be getting a 9 of Cups. Or a 6. 6 of Cups I think would be pretty good. If you have a prediction, I want you to put it in the comments. Let's take a look. Oh, we've got the World. This is the summit of the mountain. This is you getting to the top of this. This is the world for you. I think whatever this is, it means the world to you. Right? And it's kind of an all or nothing. It's either you succeed gloriously or you fail. There's no in between. So you're willing to give it everything you have. You're willing to give up your sleep and all that kind of stuff to get to this goal. I feel like this is the confirmation that you will succeed. This is the completion of a task, the completion of a life's work. This is your great work. This is your life's work, and it means the world to you, and you will accomplish it. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Taurus, Monday and Friday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. I'm here every day. You can come back, see me again tomorrow, and we can talk again. Okay? If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment for me. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know, Taurus, that you're the most important part of any tarot reading. You're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you. And we are all in this together.